Hey guys, it's me, Kiana. I hope everyone's doing great. It's such a beautiful day outside, so I hope you guys have been out. I haven't been out yet, but I plan to go out after I do this video. I said in my last video that I wanted to do something different, but I didn't get to do that. So I'll just say that for another day. It wasn't really, that important, but I just think it's good to switch things up sometimes. But that's okay. Plans got changed, so I'm just gonna do a regular video today. Except the difference is that the sun is actually shining through my room and I don't have the light on. So, okay. So anyway, today I'm just gonna talk about love, loving one another, as a nation and as a whole, because I think that that's something that you can never hear enough of, especially, not just love but respect. I think respect is like the biggest part of love that there is. So yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about today. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to talk about this was at first I was having a really hard time choosing a topic for this week. And then I thought that I, had been led on to talk about something else, but I opened my notebook to start jotting things down, and I saw something that I had written over the summer, and it just reminded me of something that I care really passionate about, which is love. It's like my favorite subject. So I'm just, going to talk about that briefly today. Okay, so first, the reason why I'm talking about this is what I saw in my notebook was something that I had dedicated to the lives that had been lost through police brutality. And I know that if you guys have seen the Black Lives Matter movement lately, I haven't really been watching the news that much, but there are still issues going on. And it's definitely very heartbreaking because I think, as a country we could, be so much more powerful if we just learn to love and respect each other. And we do have a huge amount of love and respect, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So, okay, so what I have to say. I think, I wrote an essay last year over the summer about the importance of why love correlates with the Black Lives Matter movement, and I just said, I wrote an essay dedicating it to the victims and to the families of the victims whose lives have been lost over pointless, acts of violence. And I said the only way that we're really going to get out of this situation is by loving one another, and I think that's still true. I think I think there has been, a lack of respect, and I think, that's also what we need. But just simple things like loving the people who are around you, that's how we start. If you've ever met someone and then you start getting annoyed with that person, and then that annoyance turns into dislike because you keep thinking, or you keep seeing that person and keep thinking about how you don't like that person, and then that, if you keep pondering on it, thinking about it, and then dwelling on it, that eventually can turn to hatred, and then that's what turns to violence. So I think with everything that's happening in the world, not even just with the Black Lives Matter movement, but just the acts of violence happening in the world, I think it can just be stopped if you just start appreciating and start respecting the people around you, because that's how you learn to love other people. If there's someone at school that you don't like, if there's someone at work, if you don't like your boss, if you don't like a teacher or something, you have a right to maybe not like that person, or to have different feelings about that person other than liking them. But as long as you don't think about that and then dwell on that and think also, why you're better than that person, or, why, what that person could do to be better, because that's how, we as humans become boastful. And I was thinking about it, the thing, that's definitely hard about it is that there's really no cure for hatred. The cure is love, but as long as there's humans on this world, there's always going to be some type of hatred and some type of frustration. So as long as you don't let that frustration, get the best of you, just maybe go up and, tell someone how much you appreciate them, because I understand watching the news, it can be very heartbreaking, and then eventually it just gets to the point where you start feeling kind of bitter, and you start feeling some resentment in your heart, no matter whose side you're on, or, no matter who you agree with. The more you start listening to negativity, the more bitter you become. So as long as you don't start just completely hating that other side, because then that's not helping. That's being a part of the problem. One of the things that we need to learn as a society is to love one another and to respect each other. The way that we cure hatred is by loving each other. And so if we're trying to repay evil for evil, it's not going to work. It's just going to make a bigger mess. So I wrote down the scripture because this is my favorite scripture, and this is the title of the essay that I wrote, and it's 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4 through 13, but I shortened it down to 4 through 7 because these are the ones that I really, thought were the best. And this can just, go for any and everyone. Some of the ways that you don't indulge in frustration or in violence or, in hatred is just, by reading this and learning this word, and then, learning why love is so important. And it says, 4 through 8, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. And I love that one because it teaches you about life. Life is about loving and about accepting others, whether you want to or not. And so I think, with all the crazy stuff happening in the world, like I said, not just with the racism, but just, with everything, with religion and everything, politics, learning to love and respect, and then using that love and, to make a better world. And, just the world around you, you may not be able to change everything and being able to change the 7 or 8 billion people in this world, but if you change, like, the mood and everything with the 8 people that are around you, it's like a trickling effect, and it can just affect so much more. So just like one act of violence can affect a whole nation or a whole world, one act of kindness, one act of love can affect the world too. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome week. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to love one another, and don't forget to smile. Thank you so much. Bye.